comes around.
I know, don't worry about that, mate.
No, it's not just a minute.
Let's talk cars.
Now, I promised myself that I wouldn't say so often. So please listen. So, do you know what I mean? It just drives me nuts when I'm watching all the playback of this. But I just can't help myself.
I know, it's just the way you naturally speak. So, let's talk cars.
Yes, let's talk cars.
Towing cars. Well, I'm going to kick off. Initially, we started buying big family cars because...
We have to stop and do another bit.
What about?
I'll tell you in a second if you listen. So, by request, we're doing this one, which I'm going to focus on the new car, the XC90, which is what we've been asked to. But
there's too much information in it. It's a Volvo. Lots of ladies who listen to this don't know what a blowing XC90 is.
No, but I've been asked to do that anyway. But we have to tell a story as to how we got to that car in the first place.
Yes.
Don't we?
Yes. Well, I will start that story. So,
you said so.
Yeah, I know. It's called a joke, Steve. Initially, we started buying bigger family cars because we are a big family, and at one time 4 children travelling us. So our first, what I would call big car, was a Zafira, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not that big really.
No, not now. They look tiny.
But it was big to us then.
Then we went on to a Citroen with the slidey door.
Yeah, C8, that was even bigger.
Yeah, that was a nice car. And then we got a Honda FRV
it's called, yeah, because it's got 6 seats in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a smallish one which is squashed in the middle between the driver and the passenger seat. It was all right.
Yeah.
It was a cool car, different.
And then, while we had that car, camping and caravanning came into our lives. Steve, talk to us about camping.
Yeah, no, well, yes and no. Well, it was all right until we got to just watch the intro film right at the very beginning. The reason why we moved, it was just getting too old for crawling around and stuff anymore. So we moved from tents.
No, we had camping materials. I never wanted to camp at all as an adult because I'd had some pretty horrible experiences as a teenager, and then we went to a wedding, didn't we?
That's the reason why we got a tent.
We went to a wedding of a close friend.
Yes.
Who had it like a music festival wedding, which required us to have a big tent. We looked at people in their caravans and we thought, look at them, they look warm and cosy. It was like they had camping with none of the crappy bits.
Well, exactly. You had heating and TV and toilets. I mean, just them 3 alone.
You didn't have to crowd around an iPad to watch something in the evening with your coat on, did you?
And hoping the battery would last long enough, Well, no.
And wake up with everything slightly damp and smelly. Ugh.
So we went to our local caravan dealership and we had a look at 2 or 3 caravans because they just let us wander around. What they didn't tell us was we had a Honda FRV outside their shop and we didn't know about weight and pull and towing abilities and all the rest of it.
They don't give you that information, and if you don't ask the right questions, how will you know? And this is where Steve's ability to research started to come into its own. Because frankly, if it had been me, I wouldn't have even known if the car we had was safe to drive a caravan, because they certainly didn't ask us any of those questions.
No. But when I did ask them just prior to us choosing which one we went with, somebody actually bothered to come out and have a look at the weight plate, which I'll show you up here. So, and that's when we learned about the capacity of the car, the stuff that's in it, so therefore what it weighs when all that's in it, and then how much you can pull. And then when I got that information, they then said, right, you can choose from any of the caravans that have got a label of that or less in terms of pulling. What they didn't tell us about was the fact that the Caravan Club and the other one as well, they also mentioned that you should have an 85% rule when you're new to it, right?
Yeah, but what does that mean? You mean 85% of the pull-in weight?
Yeah, so I'll make it easy. Let's say it's 100. You're allowed 85 as a pulling weight. There is a bit more then left in the car to be able to have you go up and down hills, like the ones that we found when we started going to France, because some of the hills over there, you look at it and go, my God, look at that. As you can see, this one has a massive dip down, and it also then has a massive bridge on the other side. Now, if you're pulling something which is far too heavy for the car, it's going to struggle to get up that hill.
Or, even worse, and we have seen this once, you can't. Everything's going to start to go backwards.
Yes.
And we have seen that once when
Yep.
we were near Weymouth, didn't we?
Yep.
We saw it. I mean, the amount of times we have seen caravan owners who clearly haven't done their research, who are in cars that aren't capable or safe to tow a big caravan, is actually really scary.
It is. So we bought this 6-berth caravan to be able to pull with our FRV car, which it did. And it's only then when we started going abroad we thought, you know, we need a slightly bigger car to be able to accommodate not only all us, because our children are grown as well, but also be able to pull the caravan.
And put all of our stuff in it, because our holiday with 5 or 6 people, especially 2 weeks abroad, that's a lot of stuff. So you might think, oh, in our caravan we can take loads of stuff, we don't have to worry about stuff, we can take everything. Oh yes, you do have to worry about stuff, because you have to worry about weight.
Yep, and it's called payload. When you buy a caravan, there is a plate on the side of the caravan which tells you how much payload that you can carry. Now that's when I started learning that, you know, when you buy a caravan you have the option at that point for free to be able to uplift the plate to whatever the maximum towing capacity of that chassis happens to be.
And you've done that, haven't you?
So we've done that with that caravan, and also this new one that we've got now. Well, it's not new now, it's nearly 4 years old. But yeah, so we had to do that, and that gives us the extra payload that you need when you're taking 4 kids abroad. Right, and all their paraphernalia that goes with it, and all the other stuff we need, like towels and things.
But it's not.
I have a massive list of weight.
Oh, yeah, but it's not even that. If you buy particular gadgets for caravan, like our air conditioning unit, which we take overseas, generally don't take it in the UK, that adds extra kilos, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Satellite dish on the roof, the hydraulics,
All
these
extra weight.
extra weight. Motor movers, because you can't move that twin axle caravan on its own, you have to have motor movers.
No. So it became really clear that the Honda was not going to be sufficient for us. It was due to be changed anyway, so we started looking around for a more suitable car for a bigger family and that would tow our caravan, and frankly there wasn't a lot of choice.
No, there wasn't. And no, so yeah, the top of the range ones, which were like Range Rovers and things like that, but they cost too much money to buy, cost too much money to tax, cost too much well, they did hardly any miles per gallon when you're towing, and so they were not suitable. And then you come down a little bit and you go, well, what else is there? What, Shoguns? No, I didn't like the Mitsubishi Shogun. I mean, the windscreen on it's like that, you'd be forever cleaning the bugs off, and the headrest. Yeah, anyway, there's too much of that I didn't like. And then what else have you got choice wise? There wasn't a lot, so we ended up with a Nissan Pathfinder, which was from their Navara range. It's a truck, but basically they ripped the back of the truck element out and put a seating in the back of it, so you had a boot and all the rest of it. So that's what that is. That gave us 2 tons, and it was supposed to be reliable. But it wasn't, was it?
No, kept going on. I think the first thing was it kept getting a orange light on it, didn't it?
Yeah. So it had an engine warning light that came on that was orange, and we were looking at each other going, what does that mean? So, and this is, and we'd just come back, haven't we, from
Well,
France.
that was a story in itself. We'd been to Brussels. We'd been to Belgium then for my 50th. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that holiday, almost everything that could go wrong went wrong. And you were sick on the way home. Steve didn't feel very well. And then we landed in Dover and the orange light came on.
That's right, it came on then.
We pulled over.
That was another problem as well,
You couldn't
because
pull over, could you?
no, all the lay-bys are full of trucks, which is a nightmare for you to get the car and a caravan in.
No.
So, but anyway, the light went off and we then drove home. So I then took it and got them to tell me that an orange light is not that important for you to stop, but a red one is. So then I learned there was a red light. Great, anyway. But that side, we then went abroad again, and the water pump on it went. And this is all within the first 3 years. It was under warranty and all that. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, we were
I like trouble-free motoring, and it wasn't.
We were on the day we broke down, was on the French motorway. Luckily we were on a day out, we weren't towing, so the caravan was safe, and luckily we had all our insurance. But it broke down, and then we went through the whole French breakdown system, didn't we? Had to wait for a truck, had to put high vis on. They took us from, the police come, they take you to the nearest garage, where actually it worked all right, didn't it?
No, the whole process was
Yeah, we had to have a hire car for 4 days.
Yeah, it was all right though. It was all right.
Went into the garage to be fixed, which obviously we had to pay for. We didn't you know, your insurance doesn't cover the parts and labour. Anyway, we got it sorted out, but it was a new car for all that to happen, wasn't it?
Anyway, so that took us then on to what to do next.
So again, you are quite limited, especially if, you know, you don't want to spend 100 grand on a car, which means you're borrowing for most of us anyway. And our children were getting older, sometimes not wanting to come. A girl starting to go to university, but we had Jess, our dog, now, so there were other needs upon us, whilst pulling a twin axle caravan as well.
Yeah, but so that brings us on to this XC90, and the reason why we got that.
Now we've set the scene and told you how we got to a decision to purchase a Volvo XC90, and in our next film we'll show you in far more detail why this car, this beauty, works really well for us.
Let's do a swap. Rather on, mate.
Okay.
And I can explain why. There's an aeroplane going overhead and making so much noise it can barely hear me, I no doubt. There it is, just there, look. Anyway, back on me. So, apart from setting the scene of it, I'll take you through some of the gadgets and gizmos this thing's got. And as you'll see, it's actually not a bad investment. And I'll say like and subscribe and hit the little bell before the guy who's mowing comes along again. Or hoovering.